Hey guys, Colorado Dave here, and this is Knives in Our Lives, and I thank you guys for watching today. Just wanted to talk to you about what I got left here knife-wise. You'll see some major changes in my small collection that I now have. I originally had about 40 knives, 45 knives, somewhere in that range, and this is what I got left. After all the pickings and after everything was said and done, this is what I ended up with. And the first thing I will tell you about what you see here today is they're all knives that I use, and they're all knives that are practical, and they're good knives. Obviously, I like Spyderco. 3 out of the 4 are Spyderco. But one of my favorite knives out there, if not my favorite, and I can't call a favorite. I'm not a favorite kind of guy. But that's why it's easy to go down to something like, it's not easy, but to get down to something like 4 is okay. But to get down to 1 for me is very, very, very difficult. So in that breath, I would say what definitely belongs here as well is my Benchmade 940. That happens to be the 940-1, which is with the carbon fiber and the S90V steel. But I really like that knife. I really, really like it. I just got it recently. I did have another 940 before it, which was my first introduction to Benchmade and the Osborne 940. And I sold that off because it was a special edition. And so I was able to raise enough money that I was able to get this one instead, because I felt like this was more of a user knife. And it was a steel that I had never worked with, which was the S90V, that it was a good fit for me. A lot of people had commented that it's the best of all the 940s that have been made, blah, blah, blah. A lot of comments on it being a little bit overpriced, but positive comments on the actual knife. And so I felt good about it, and I went ahead and pulled the trigger. I had a credit with DLT Trading that I had bought a lot of my knives from. I had built up some points so I could use that towards it, and so I was able to get a good deal on it. So needless to say, I'm excited to have it, and it definitely gets carried. I would say right now that's between that and the Para 3. These are probably my 2 heaviest carried knives. I like this one I'm still babying. My Spidey Chef, my old one, I used the hell out of it. It was my second highest used knife of last year, this being my number 1 used knife. I used it a ton. I sold it off not too long ago. That's why I had to go out and get another one, because I didn't feel right not having it in my collection. The small collection I had, it is a knife that I actually used, and it's a knife that I missed the second I got rid of it. So I did end up getting another one, and I've just been babying it because it's beautiful. I love the anodized look that they put on it. This is from Knives Plus is where I got it, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful knife, and no regrets on getting it. I just have been babying it, so that's why it hasn't gotten as much use as these other 2. But right now, those are my 2 heaviest used knives, and then like I said, when I'm out fishing or wearing shorts or just hanging out around the house sometimes, I have a tendency to put this in my pocket, and I like that a lot as well. And that is the Salt 2, and that's the new green one, the green series that has the LC200N steel on it. You can't tell because I changed the scales. I dyed those myself and changed them. So anyway, so that's what's going on there. And I just wanted to share with you guys that things have changed yet again in my little collection. And again, I wouldn't call myself a collector anymore since I've pretty much sold off almost my whole collection. What I would say is I'm an enthusiast, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys more with these knives as I use them more, as I do some special projects with them, as I take them on some little journeys, up into the mountains and do some different things. I'll bring you guys with me, and I'll do some videos, and hopefully they're not boring, and you guys keep watching. But right now, that's going to be my focus. It's not going to be buying a bunch of knives. I have had a couple guys, I've had 2 guys now reach out to me saying that they would potentially send some knives to me for me to review. So if some of those come through and I start getting some knives to review, I will definitely start reviewing some more knives for you guys as well. But for now, I'm going to focus on these 4 because these are 4 great knives. In addition to that, I do have a couple lower end knives, and I don't want to say lower end because they're great knives. Just more budget knives, excuse me, is probably the proper terminology. But knives that I started with that I still do have in my collection, and I do have a couple of those that I want to share with you guys. I have like a Rhea that I really, really like. That's from CJRB. I also have a what am I trying to think of? I have a Civivi Praxis. I've never reviewed it. I've never done anything with it on the camera, so I'm probably going to do a review on that. I dyed the scales on it. I got this racing red color, and they were orange originally, but man, did that turn out nice. I'd love to show it to you, but it's sitting in the drawer that's behind where the camera's taping this thing, so it's hard to get to right now, bottom line. But I'll share that with you guys at some point. I got a couple other. I got a Penguin, QSP Penguin, that I love. That's a great little knife too. That's another one that I'll pick up anytime for any project I'm doing around the house or whatever. And it's a great knife for that. I don't carry it a lot on the street, but around the house I do grab it and I play with it and I'll use it for little projects. Absolutely. It's a great one for that actually. So, but I'll share some of this stuff with you as time goes on. I also have I have some throwing knives that I got from Spyderco that are Spidey throwers or something like that. I don't remember the proper terminology now because it's been a while since I bought them. But when I go camping or I go up in the woods sometimes, hiking, I do bring them and they're a blast. Oh, they're a blast. I got a board for them and everything where you can just throw them into this board. But I love to take those up into the mountains and throw them. They're a lot of fun. But so I got some throwing knives. We might play around with those one day just because we can. I got a couple fixed blades. I've never done anything with my fixed blades on camera. Maybe I'll pull those out. So I've talked about doing some sharpening videos. I got a KME system, and so I might do some sharpening videos. That's kind of where I'm going with my world and doing this stuff on YouTube for now. Like I said, I'm not planning on purchasing a whole bunch of knives here in the near future as I got some other focus going on. But I do want to continue the channel and continue growing it. And when opportunities come to review some other knives through friends and through through the channel, I will definitely share those with you. So I'm not going anywhere by any means. Just wanted you guys to know that I've had to make some drastic changes to my collection, and we're gonna rebuild it here together. So it is what it is. It's gonna be fun though too. Having a clean slate and rebuilding it is a lot of fun, and it's kind of interesting because I'm looking at what's below right there, and it's 3 out of those 4 knives are Spydercos, and I was a huge Spyderco fan when I first started my collection. And then towards the end, when I kind of peaked out and had the most invested in my collection before I sold anything and I started buying more expensive knives, I was buying less Spydercos. I was turned off to Spyderco a little bit. They weren't my favorite brand. If you look at some of my earlier videos, I got a little bit bummed out on them because of some things with their warranties and how they handle things with their warranties. Not that I've had to use it, but what I've heard hearsay from other people. I had one minor experience in Golden where I dropped my knife off in person, and they wanted to charge me a bunch of money just to reshape it, because of a chip that I got, because of the fact that the one steel chipped. Anyway, it was a stupid incident, but they did take care of it, but I ended up having to pay for it, and none of it was covered under warranty, so I was a little bit disappointed. I just felt like, they just don't seem like Chris Reeve knives when it comes to customer service. We'll just leave it at that. And there is a difference, and that is part of what you're paying for when you look at those nicer knives in some cases. Not necessarily if you're talking about a knife that you're getting from China, from Riyadh. I don't know what their return policy is. I've never owned one for that reason. I don't feel comfortable with that, not when you're spending that kind of money. But as far as Spyderco goes, they're like one of my favorites again, because what I found is once you get into that $100 to $200 range as far as what you want to spend for a knife, maybe $250 range, something like that on the high end, that pretty much puts you in the Spyderco world big time. And what's fun about Spyderco is if you're only going to have a couple knives and you only got a few knives in your pocket that you're carrying on a regular basis, you want them to be fun. So you want them to have a nice steel. Like this is the Spyderco Para 3, and it's got the Maximate steel on it. This is fun because it's fun to play with this steel. It's fun to see what it can do. It's fun to see how long the edge is going to last. It's awesome. It's just a great knife. I really, really like it. I've had this for a long time. This is probably 2 years old, and it's still in great shape. It's still got awesome, phenomenal action. It is patinaing a little bit on the blade, which I'm totally fine with. But great knife. Great knife. Anyway, I don't need to get in. I'm not going to do a full review on all these knives. I just wanted to kind of show you what I still have currently at this time in front of me as far as premium knives go. And this is it, guys. Like I said, we're going to rebuild this thing together. But that's okay. It really is okay. I'm feeling it, but it's okay. I had a beautiful ZT collection. I had a bunch of beautiful ZT knives that I loved. Had some higher end Spydercos. I had a Drunken, for example, that was a beautiful knife. I had a couple Chris Reeves knives. Anyway, I went through a lot over the last couple months, and this is what I ended up with. And it's kind of funny what you end up with, because I had knives that were more expensive. I didn't pick these four because they were the most expensive knives. I had other knives that were good for different reasons or for different specific purposes, etc. But all these knives you see in front of you, any one of these is a great EDC. This is a great rotation in front of me. I don't think anybody could say otherwise. I mean, because the 940, awesome, everyday carry. The Salt 2, awesome, everyday carry. If you guys aren't familiar with the blade steel, go get yourself something with LC200N. It's phenomenal. It's one of my favorite steels right now. It is my favorite steel, I would say. That is my number one favorite steel. And this is LC200N as well for the Spidey Chef, because again, it's corrosion resistant. The Maximin's been a lot of fun as well. That would be right up there as one of my favorite steels. The S90V, I'm still learning it, so I can't say that yet, but I can say that I've had a good experience with it. It was a little bit tough when I put the first edge on it. It was a little bit tougher to sharpen, but I have a nice edge on it now, and it just cuts through cardboard like it's paper, and I do like that, and I like that a lot. So anyway, so that's I guess all I had for you today. I'm kind of just rambling at this point, but I just wanted you guys to know kind of where I'm going with my collection and kind of where I'm going with everything that I'm doing with the channel. And I want to thank you guys for your support. And, again, you got any friends or anybody else that can support the channel, please do. Turn them on to me. If you guys got comments or ideas and other things that I can do, let me know. The other one I didn't even talk about. Sorry, I just moved the camera by accident, guys. The other thing I didn't even talk about is I got a whole collection of culinary knives because I'm a culinary guy by trade. And so in that breath, there will be a time when I'll pull those out and we're going to play in the kitchen as well. Right now, my main brand that I really have a lot of and I like a lot is the Shun knives. And then I also have a bunch of Hinkels as well that are from my older culinary days, and I've had them forever. And they're just great knives that will last forever, but they're kind of the ones we use in the kitchen every day. And then it's kind of funny, we have two sets of knives in the kitchen. There's my set, and then there's the one for the family that everybody else uses, because I don't like anybody touching my premium knives, because they'll just throw them in the sink and wash them in the dishwasher and do all that stuff. And I'm real careful with my knives. So needless to say, I have my own little block of knives that are just to play with. So we'll have to pull those out and do something with those one day as well. But again, I'm on with the rambling. I'm going to let you guys go for now. But do keep your eyes open for any new videos. Hit the notification button if you want it to automatically alert you. That's all I got, guys. Thanks. I'm signing off. This is Knives in Our Lives, and this is Colorado Dave. We will talk to you again here soon, guys. Thanks.